In Sally's Cozy Cone's reception, some pictures on the wall show the Eiffel Tower, the pyramids, and Stonehenge all as cones. During development for Cars, Sally was originally intended to be a Mustang, but the creators of the film decided on a Porsche design instead, due to the more ladylike appearance of the grille. Jackson Storm's paint design was inspired by the tropical storm symbol used in weather forecasting. The Pixar team adjusted it slightly to double as a symbol, which was both a representation of Storm's personality and his initials. Luigi was based on the car featured in the 1979 film The Castle of Cagliostro, which was the directorial debut of Hayao Miyazaki, the co-founder of Studio Ghibli. Did you know that Sally Portia's profession as an attorney is a reference to Portia, a nickname for female lawyers, named after the character in William Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice?
Doc, you look awful.
Oh, this ain't gonna be pretty.
Did you know that Cars 3 was nominated for only 2 Annie Awards? The lowest amount not only for the Cars franchise, but for Pixar as a whole, besting Toy Story 3 and Finding Dory's records for only 3 nominations. Kyle Petty voices Dinoco racer Cal Weathers, the nephew of the King Strip Weathers. The King was voiced by Petty's father, Richard Petty. The song You Might Think, in a montage scene in Cars 2, was performed by Weezer, but was originally a hit by the band The Cars. Did you know the name Miles Axelrod, as voiced by Eddie Izzard, was taken from one of Izzard's stand-up routines about the invention of the wheel and axle?
Have you met Axelrod?
Did you know that the Queen is a classic 1950s Rolls-Royce Phantom 4? Prince William is a Bentley Continental GT.
This is going nowhere fast. We really should go, Grandmother.
One moment. I'd like to see where this is going.
In Moon Mater, the newspaper on which the episode's title appears is the Emeryville Gazette. Emeryville is a city in California where Pixar headquarters is located. This marks the second time the town is mentioned in the Cars world, the first time being in Cars.
When does an astronaut eat?
At lunchtime.
Casa de la Tires was originally going to be called Tire Hut and in the shape of a tire on its side. In Cars, the member of Lightning McQueen's pit crew who insists that his name isn't Chuck is listed as Not Chuck in the end credits, and his voice actor is Mike Nelson, whose nickname is No Name.
We quit, Mr. One-Man Show!
Did you know that Mia and Tia do not make an appearance in Cars 3? Making it the only Cars movie not to include them. Sally Carrera was inspired by Don Welch, owner of the Rock Cafe in Stroud, Oklahoma. Cars director John Lasseter and his crew met Welch during one of his trips down Route 66, and the Rock Cafe has several pieces of memorabilia celebrating the movie's success. Teaser trailer for Cars, number 57, has a sign on his side that says CDA 2319. This is a reference to the Child Detection Agency from Monsters, Inc. and 2319, which is the code word for a contamination emergency.
2319! We have a 2319!
Did you know that on the plane ride to Tokyo, Mater and Lightning are watching a car version of the 2002 film Takashi's Castle, an old Japanese game show? Did you know that Brent Mustangburger has clearly visible white walls on both the inside and outside of his tires? Tires are manufactured with a white wall on only one side of the tire, so that the user can decide whether or not to have them visible when installed on the vehicle.
Better than a Ferrari, huh?
No.
Did you know that as a reference to the 1960 Andy Griffith show, Otis the Town Lemon is named after Otis the Town Drunk? In the first race in the RV area, one of the RVs is seen with a picture of the jackalope from the 2003 Pixar short Boundin'. Sarge's license plate is 41WW2, which is a reference to World War II, and is also the year that the U.S. joined the war. Cars is the only Cars movie that doesn't include the Pixar ball or Luxo Jr. lamp. Radiator Springs was originally going to be nearly twice as large as the town as we know it. It had a fairground with a roller coaster, a museum, a library, a bank, a traffic school, a power plant, and a Radiator Springs water stand, among many other buildings.
I hear this place is back on the map.
Guido's paintbrush is seen in Wall-E when Wall-E builds a sculpture of Eve, in which he uses the paintbrush as the left arm. Ramon's shop is designed after an actual old-time Conoco service station in Shamrock, Texas, on the old Route 66. Paul Newman's last film project before he sadly died of lung cancer at the age of 83 was Mater and the Ghost Light.
Well, good night.
Miss Fritter was originally going to be nicknamed Problem Child. Willie's Butte and the rocks in Ornament Valley were inspired by auto collector Don Summers' large collection of ornate hood ornaments.
In these two cabinets here, there's probably 3,000 hood ornaments.
Rasta Carrion from Monster Truck Mater has dreadlocks made of bungee cables.
Who'll be jamming now?
During the Lodge evacuation scene in Planes Fire and Rescue, there's a biplane trying to get her engine started so she can take off. The propeller blades on the plane are obviously pitched in the wrong direction to pull the airplane forward with the engine running, and would push her backwards instead. Did you know that as Miss Fritter drives up to Cruz Ramirez, she remarks,
Your license plate's gonna look real nice in my collection!
mirroring General Grievous's line from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection.
Did you know Lizzie is an homage to Ford's original 1913 Tin Lizzie, the first mass-produced car? Doc Hudson is based on real-life NASCAR pioneer Herb Thomas, who drove the Hudson Hornet to Grand National Championships in 1951 and 1953. He was beaten out for the title in 1954 by Lee Petty, father of Richard Petty, the King's voice actor and race car driver. Thomas crashed in 1955 and 1956, effectively ending his career. As a reference to the 1967 film Cool Hand Luke, Lightning McQueen's punishment is to tar the road, just as the prisoner's punishment is in this film. Paul Newman also stars in both films.
So we're gonna hit you up to Sweet Bessie and you're gonna pull her nice.
You gotta be kidding.
In the Radiator Springs courtroom, there's a Latin motto over the doorway that should read,
Justite via strata veritate,
meaning,
the road of justice is paved with truth.
Jackson Storm was seen racing at the By and Large Raceway. By and Large originated in Wall-E.
Too much garbage in your face? There's plenty of space out in space.